Hi everybody, Planet Walls here for round 2 of Classic League Season Invitational 2013, yeah. I am playing the Zur deck, but this is not the Zur deck, this is my opponent's deck. My opponent is Fishy Fellow. He was a gentleman and offered to play me tonight. I'm actually driving out of town in the morning tomorrow, and so it was really helpful of him to be willing to play me at a time that worked for me. So, this is what he's playing. It's a show and tell combo deck that is extremely linear, and its entire goal is to land a giant guy and beat me with it. I guess as a ancillary kill condition, it has all of his spirit guides, kind of. So his misdirection is like a 5th Force of Will, which is worth noting. 4 Brainstorms, Demonic Consultation, Mental Missteps to protect itself, 4 Mystical Tutors, Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor, all for card selection. For ramp, it has a Mana Crypt, Lotus Petals, Mana Vault, Soul Ring. It's also got 2 days to protect the combo. The combo itself is going to be Show and Tells, and these guys, or Tinker, and this guy, or Channel, and this guy, or this guy. And it's going to be hard to predict which one he's going for at any given time, since he's got so many tutors. The real one I'm scared of is Channel Emrakul, because I can't really respond to it except by Force of Willing the Channel. And he's got more counter spells than I do. So, I'm hopeful that I can beat this deck anyway, and I'll say why I think that. Also, Spirit Guides are ramp, I forgot to mention that real quick. Look at the land count. 12. So, I'm scared, but I think this deck will beat itself like 30% of the time, based on Mana Screw or something else. He's got 2 Trops, 2 Underground Seas, a Bayou, and an Island. So he does have a basic Island, but back to basics seems good against him, if I can land it. Granted, he's got Lotus Petals and Fetch Lands, but he just isn't running very many mana sources. And it's also worth noting how many blue cards he has to pitch to Force or Misdirection. So he's got 5 here, 10, 12, 16, 20, 24. 24 is a decent number, but some of these cards are his combo pieces. So, granted, Daze loses effect late game, Mental Misstep is only contingently efficacious, etc. That's just what I'm noticing. In the sideboard, he brings in another Misdirection, which can serve as a 6th Force of Will. Pithing Needles, which can be useful in some matchups, especially against Caracas, which I do have in the main. He can bring in some extra lands, which can also ramp in the shape of Crystal Vein, or some things to force through spells. He'd probably bring in a Nature's Claim against me because of the high enchantment count I have. Seeds of Innocence doesn't bother me, neither do Ravenous Traps. Flusterstorm is an extra counterspell potentially. Echoing Truth can bounce Detention Spheres, and Hurkyl's Recall and Steel Sabotage don't do much. So, this is going to be a tough matchup, I think. But we'll find out whether or not it's actually a tough matchup when we start playing and see if his deck beats itself. So, I am still nervous, though. I'll see you in game. Alright, and we are back in game, and we run the die roll, and we are definitely going to want to play first. Solitary Confinement is really bad in this deck, but Detention Sphere knocks out any of his show and tell plans. So I do still have to worry about Tinker, kind of, but I can Swords his Blightsteel Colossus. And I don't have any counter magic in this hand at all. So if he chooses to go for a channel kill, I think I lose. With that said, I do have a Caracas here. And does he have any way to deal with Caracas? That's sort of the question. Because if he can turn 1 channel, which is certainly possible in this deck, then Caracas helps me out. And I don't think he has a way to deal with Caracas any other way. He doesn't have a Strip Mine. He just has to Blightsteel. So I think I actually have to lead off, no matter how ridiculous it is. I think I lead off with Caracas instead of Deathrite Shaman, just in case he turn 1 Emrakuls. I just want to make absolutely sure about that, though. So I'm not going to mulligan this. Yeah, I don't really know what his options are except for Tinker then. So, I guess the question is, maybe I don't want to show him that I have the Caracas. That could be the right move, because then he won't know to Mystical Tutor for what am I trying to say? He won't know to Mystical Tutor for Tinker. But then again, if he Tinkers, I have the swords, which can get countered, though. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lead off with the Deathrite Shaman and just hope he can't turn 1 channel me. That would be pretty hard to do. He would have to have a channel and an Emrakul in his opening hand, and that's unlikely. That would happen, I think, roughly, like, I don't know, 4% of the time. So I'm willing to lead off with this, see if he counters it. If it lands, we just roll with it. And if it doesn't, and it did, so I guess that's not really an option, we just hope that he doesn't channel this turn, we Caracas him. And I think I made the right play there, even if the Paranoid play would have been to play the Caracas. Again, this keeps him from Mystical Tutoring for that card for 1 turn, I think. Then again, if he channels this turn, I just lose, and I guess I feel like an idiot. If he shows and tells, I can just Attention Sphere whatever he shows and tells. Or Solitary Confinement, I guess. This card really sucks in this matchup. Okay, so I don't think he would have done that had he been planning on... That was kind of a weak start for him, actually. But if he'd been planning on just tinkering, would he do that? Okay, now we have another Detention Sphere. That's pretty good. I'm going to drop the Caracas this turn to be safe, and we attack. So... this guy can even block a Blightsteel Colossus, which is, I guess, what we're afraid of at this point, now that we have Caracas out. This card is so awesome in this format. We are not going to tap this if we can help it. Okay, so we've got an upkeep Mystical Tutor, and this is what I was kind of anxious about. I mean, he could channel Emrakul and then just get it bounced. That seems bad. He could channel Blightsteel. Okay, so he finds Force of Will. Finds Counter Magic to put on top. That's kind of scary. But I still have 2 counter spells, or I still have 3 removal spells. And a potential blocker in the shape of Deathrite. So he has to go for Tinker here, I think. I think that's his only play. Yeah, so he Tinkers. We let that mana run out of his pool. And... do we wait till end of turn? I guess so. This is definitely going to get countered. And it does. And there's our quote-unquote win con. Now let's see if this works. It appeared to. So, if we look back at his deck, he's out of his Tinker plan. He can still channel Emrakul, but I don't think he can get rid of the Detention Sphere in the main. I think he's lost the game. So, I guess he can still channel Emrakul. But I had to tap the Caracas that turn. But from now on, I think Caracas stays untapped for the rest of the game. Even though we could cast Azure this turn, actually we can cast Azure and leave Caracas untapped. So let's have fun with that. Tundra or Trop Island? Trop Island is probably wrong. Bayou is definitely wrong here, I think. No, let's go Tundra. And we're leaving that Caracas untapped until the end of time. I guess I could have found a basic there to use with Zur. I was actually just going to look for a Snake Umbra, which is humorous. Okay, so Zur's going to get in there. Actually, what do we have available? Because we don't want to find a detention sphere. Snake Umbra was just awkwardly drawn. We can find back to basic, so that's not very good right at the moment. There's Energy Flux, which isn't great. Probably should have cast the Snake Umbra before combat. Yeah, actually, I definitely should have done that. So, this is the lamest Zur ever. Because we've got this Energy Flux situation, I should have cast the Snake Umbra on him. That's funny, I suppose. We're going to start exiling some instants and a turn to accelerate this. That was bad play on my part. Yeah, I think that that's okay. Definitely should have looked for a basic island. So 2 mistakes. Should have played the Snake Umbra before combat and should have been looking for a basic island. We have this Energy Flux that doesn't do anything out right now. But at least we don't have to draw it, I guess. That's not the best use of anything. Okay, so he's going to attempt to show and tell here. Let's hope he doesn't find a basic. Good. I think we should be able to lock him out here. So Grizzlebrand might be a problem. Not really, actually. Yeah, we're okay with this. Yeah, so he draws 1,000,000 cards, but I don't think he's ever going to tap. Okay, good. So we took that one. Detention Sphere is really good in a show and tell matchup. So what comes in? For him, this is what I think he boards in. He may board in additional land. I think he has to board in Pithing Needles because of Caracas. He boards in Nature's Claim for sure. And probably this Misdirection, just because it can counter a counterspell. And he may board out Show and Tells, but I doubt it. Like, he doesn't have a lot of cards to board out. And I think he boards in Echoing Truth. Like, all these are options, and even these are options here, like Besiege You. So, any of these cards could be in. For me, I think that Energy Flux definitely comes out. Even though it eliminates the Blightsteel plan. Like, I just don't care that much about Blightsteel. I've got swords here that I have to, I think, keep in. Solitary Confinement definitely comes out. The Geist kill quickly. Like, do I want to go a different plan? I'm not sure I do. Like, Ice Cage is kind of funny. Steal the Godhead ends the game quickly. And I guess it can get through a Grizzlebrand, so this is something worth considering. The Mental Misstep definitely has to come in. The question is, like, is the Mana Vortex better than Back to Basics? I think it probably is not. That's not extraordinary. That doesn't do anything. So a lot of these cards don't do anything. Ice Cage is like another Swords, I guess. And I don't think Trigon is very good in the matchup. So, like, Arena is good against him, I guess. I think all these cards are better. He doesn't really have any creature removal. Like, the question is Ice Cage better than, like, some random Kasali Pride Mage? Like, it might be. Yeah. I think it is, because it's another thing I can bring in with... what am I trying to say? It's another card I can show and tell onto the battlefield, I believe. So I think I'm okay with the way that that looks. Let's go ahead and submit. And we drew the steal, which sucks, and this Pride Mage doesn't do very much. This is a pretty uninteractive hand, actually. So if he doesn't mulligan, and he doesn't, I have to think about whether or not I want to mulligan this. We can ramp into Zur, but I just don't know how good that is. Like, if he goes off real soon. Because I think if he shows and tells, I can put Zur into play and then eliminate whatever he shows and tells. So we're not going to mulligan this, actually. We're going to see what happens here. Do we want to play that to thin out our deck? That's a good question. We have a Forest already. So I think I lead off with this, and... because I could draw a Brainstorm. He might counter this. That wouldn't be the end of the world, but it does slow down Zur. Like, it's possible he's going full-on channel route. Which is hard. I just can't answer with this hand. Okay, so he actually tapped for the Mental Misstep, which means he's not going to be tutoring this turn. So I feel like that went okay. And then he doesn't have a land to follow that up on. Now that could be because he's got some other mana sources he's looking to play. We're going to play this and find a Bayou. And then drop Pride Mage. And go ahead and pass the turn. So he could like ramp into a Tinkerer, and that he just may not have wanted to play the Mana Crypt that turn. That's totally possible. But he's really far away from channeling, which is good for me. Yeah, I'm going to cast this before combat for sure. And I want to keep the other fetch land just in case I draw a Brainstorm. Like, I like this attack phase because putting him at 15 rather than 16 means it's really low likelihood that he can channel. Putting him at 16 is good anyway because then he can't fetch land and channel in the same turn. But I'm okay with the way that this is going right now. Okay, so I'm not immediately scared of channel. That makes me feel really safe, because a show and tell brings Zur into play, and Zur attacks to find a detention sphere. Now that's, I guess, going to name Pride Mage, but maybe it'll name Caracas. I I don't think he actually has very many artifacts that I want to kill. Unless I'm just trying to avoid letting him tinker. Okay, I think that that's a desperation play, because I'm not going to sacrifice this Pride Mage to kill that Pithing Needle. Anyway. Which I obviously can't do that, as it is. So I'm going to attack first, and then I'm going to try and play Azure after playing a land, because he has Daze. And I hope he Force of Wills Zur, because I have another one, and they're legendary. I mean, I think he has to force this. Yeah, okay. So he pitches a misdirection, which is fine. And we're going to pass the turn. And I'm beginning to wonder why he kept his hand. Like, I'm very curious what it means he must have. We've actually been drawing not very well. I don't think I have to worry about 2 dazes. But we definitely attack first anyway and see what happens. And this puts him in range of like 2 Zur attacks or less. I mean, I guess I could put Steel on the Pride Mage. That just seems bad, though. Yeah, we could still draw a Brainstorm. So if this gets forced 2, I guess that would make sense, because I don't know what else would be in his hand but Force of Wills. Like, now I'm starting to worry that I should have just cast the Steel on the Pride Mage. Because, like, he'd be dead next turn. Well, you know what? He's going to be dead next turn if he forces anyway. What's he exiling? A Mystical Tutor? That's pretty good for me. So Zur is apparently a big enough threat that, yeah, we'll see if we can win this game with a Steel of the Godhead on a Pride Mage. That would be, I guess, a fitting end to... Uh-oh, this could be it. This could be the Tinker. I hope not. Because this guy isn't blue and he isn't unblockable. No! We're gonna lose! Okay. Is there anything I could have done about that? I'm not sure that there was. So that explains why he played Pithing Needle naming Pride Mage, because I could have killed the Pithing Needle that he was planning on tinkering away. I guess let's draw something good here. That, humorously enough, might be good enough. Maybe. Does this resolve? If it does, that's really important. He's got to be sitting on a daze, the way he's been playing. Like, he's got to counter this if he can. If he's got a misstep. Because this blocks and prevents him from attacking with the Colossus. Because then I'll kill him with Pride Mage. But he doesn't know I can kill him with Pride Mage in one attack yet. Yeah, he's got to be wondering if he wants to misstep this. This is a really interesting play. If he missteps it, he makes the right play, or at least that's the better play for him. I don't know if that's the right play. Okay, so he did. And that's definitely good for him, because he would have just lost. Well, he wouldn't have just lost. He would have not been able to attack with Blightsteel. And unfortunately, Steel of the Godhead just sucks on Noble Hierarch, so... That's nice. Got a fan. Hi, Sworn Oath. You can get a cameo right when I'm about to lose this game. So I'm going to pass this turn. I'm not putting a Steel of the Godhead on the Blightsteel. But I'm definitely planning on absorbing an attack. Maybe if I would have put Steel on the Pride Mage earlier. I mean, that seemed like an inane play. And here we are. We have to block this. So like the question is, if I had a Brainstorm, it doesn't matter. So I want to crack Misty at this point. And he can't Mental Misstep or he just loses to Hierarch. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we played a land there. We're going to crack this to thin out our deck and not draw this Tundra. That is not going to cut it. And so the question is, do I want to show him that I boarded in either of these cards? And I don't think so. But I'm going to try to scare him a little bit and attack. It's too bad that he was able to tinker this game, because we came so close to getting him. Yeah, I'm going to let him take his turn, though, without playing anything, just to make him crazy. Alright. I don't think there's any way he's coming back from this one. Let's take 1,000,000 poisons. Alright. Let's just not draw a bad hand here. I'm feeling okay with the way the deck looked, I think. Maybe Pride Mage is more valuable than I thought it was. Like, maybe Geist is the card... I mean, this ends the game so quickly, but... I just don't know. Let's put a Pride Mage back in. I think that might be better. Like, Energy Flex, I guess, would have prevented him from being able to Blightsteel kill me after I back to basics. So, like, I'm strongly considering bringing this in again. Snake Umbra, I think, is going to get the axe. I think that's okay. Like, our deck is actually set up in an okay position against him. Even the Vendilion clicks are good. So, I have a feeling that we're going to want to name some serious human here. No, we're not mulling this. Unless we want to name Wizard and get this Vendilion click in play. But I think he would misstep this Hierarch. Like, how important is it to resolve the Vendilion click next turn if I can't resolve the Hierarch this turn? I think it's really important to resolve the Hierarch. So this is kind of a crappy land at this point, but it's not the end of the world. What's this gonna name? Pride Mage? Because then I have an idea that he's going for the Tinker kill. Yeah. Well, we won't play, he could daze me? That would be bad. Yeah, I'm thinking about back to basics. No, I've got so many Hierarchs out. I'm kind of worried about another Tinker. Maybe we wait for his upkeep and see what happens. I think that's better than playing a Hierarch right now. Yeah. We just see what land we want with this. This way, if he dazes, he has to return his land right now. I actually kind of want to do it during his upkeep so he doesn't draw a daze or a counterspell. I know that's silly. Maybe. I actually don't think that's very silly. I think that's maybe a good idea. Let's go Trop Island here. It doesn't really matter. Let's actually go Tundra. I'm doing it during his upkeep, like I said. Even though it gives me less information, I think it's less likely for him to draw a counterspell. And it gives him one fewer blue card potentially to pitch to a Force of Will. Okay. So there could definitely be a Tinker this turn. Which would kind of suck. But there wasn't. The turn just ended. So I feel good about that, I guess. And I think do we just play our Zur here? So, like, what happens if he shows and tells? I don't think anything bad. I guess we just get, like, a Hierarch or a Pride Mage? I don't think you can kill that guy. Back to basics doesn't exactly do anything right now. This can find a basic. That's pretty cool. And I think I want to play all these guys first, right? Like, I guess I just no longer can bluff. I have a counterspell, but I don't think that's so valuable. We're going to find, I guess, a forest, though it probably doesn't matter. Hang on, I have to be careful about what fetch lands are left in my deck. I think the Plains is the card I should find. It's more specific. Okay. So yeah, we're going to find something here. Do we just find... I guess we find Energy Flux to make his artifact go away. As silly as that seems. And then this puts him out of easy channel range. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so that seems like another desperation move to me. He didn't sack any Spirit Guides to pay for the Pithing Needle, so... yeah, the Brainstorm's fine. Could attack for 5 with the Pride Mage, but I think this turn, getting a back to basics is probably going to be the right play. Because it basically Stone Rains his Underground Sea, which I think is really valuable. If I'd done that this last turn, it just would have let him know that that was the plan. And I think Energy Flux basically turns off his Tinker plan, or his Blightsteel plan at the very least, for now. I've got a lot of blockers too. So, like, if he shows and tells, Like, I think Zer's got this game on lockdown, in other words. That's what I'm feeling. Anyway. So let's F4. We drew a detention sphere. That's actually okay. I'd rather not draw it, but it's not the end of the world. We can I think mana screwing him has to be the right play. Okay, I need GGs. Trying to say nice playing with you. Oh, okay. So I guess I didn't get a chance to say that, but that's okay. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you for round 3 next week.